or that one ring is still just gonna trump everything that LeBron's done?
Honestly, it depends on where he does it at, in my opinion. If he joins like Golden State or something like that, I can't give it to him. Even though he might be the most talented basketball player ever, it's going to be tough for me with him leaving Cleveland twice. I don't know. I respect the loyalty of MJ.
Well, Carson, I liked you a lot before this interview, and now I like you even more.
So you get
thanks for getting this interview started off on the right foot. First off, though,
points for loyalty.
Loyalty, absolutely. Loyalty. Carson's my man now. All right, man. So obviously you had such a successful year this year, so much fun. But before we get into that, your nickname is Big Fudge. How does one get dubbed Big Fudge?
Oh man! All right. Well, there's a TV show that was, it's not on the air anymore, but it's called How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah.
And there's a big old goofy guy in that show named Marshall Erickson, who's from St. Cloud, Minnesota, in the show.
That explains a lot.
And all of my buddies, all my teammates said I looked like him. So
you kind of do, actually.
I can definitely see that.
So everyone thinks I look like Jason Segel, and they kept ragging on me, and then the Big Fudge episode finally came up, and they're like, "Oh man, you're Big Fudge." There's no question about it. So initially, I fought it because in AAU, my teammates used to call me Big Sexy, which is a way bigger nickname, but then Bartolo Colon kind of stepped in and took that.
He did. He really did.
So I can't compete with that. So then finally I just gave in and said, I'll roll with Big Fudge. And, it was, I'd say I was called that maybe 25% of the time at UND. And sure enough, I get to Loyola, and the first day in our team group chat, as a joke, I'm like, "Hey, I'm Carson. You can call me Big Fudge, though." And honestly, I didn't get called Carson the rest of my time at Loyola.
Dude, I love that, though. That's embracing what you're given, though, and running with it. Because honestly, Big Fudge, that's a good nickname, man. That's unique. Big Sexy, it's been done. It was done before Bartolo. Kevin Nash back in the WCW wrestling days.
NWO.
Yeah, he was Big Sexy, so it had been done before. Big Fudge, that's unique, though,
that
man.
might be before your time, too. Man. The Kevin Nash thing might be way before your time.
Especially if you don't follow wrestling. You probably
I have no idea what Kevin Nash.
But hey, man, like if you're Big Fudge when you're 40, you're doing something right, though. So that's props on that.
Yo, Carson, tell us what it was like to get to the proverbial mountaintop of college basketball, especially in 1 year at a school.
Man, it was unreal. In all honesty, even to this day, I'm not really even sure I get the full magnitude of what we did. So in my junior year, obviously at UND, I went to the NCAA tournament. That was the first time in school history. And I thought that was a stage that I would, maybe never get to ever again. And then sure enough, this past year, cranking out all those close wins and, kind of capturing the attention of the country, it was unreal. I mean, every win we would get, the spotlight would just get a little bit bigger, and we would get a little more, bigger following. And it was, it kind of culminated for me. I guess when I really realized the stage we were on is when, we were running out for warm-ups against Michigan in the Final Four, and there's literally 75,000 people there. I mean, the most people I had ever played in front of was, honestly, Jordan, you can probably attest to this, was the Kohl Center. We played there at UND, and there was maybe 15,000 people there or so. And to have, more people than there is in Apple Valley in one stadium was the most surreal experience. And, even I was athletic during warm-ups, which is saying something because there's just so much adrenaline.
Yeah, it is crazy how you get a little bounce in your step when the fans are going.
Sure.
You almost feel like you're LeBron for a second, but then tell me what the mentality was like of the team as an underdog. Obviously you started the first game. Was it confidence? Was it we'll just see how this goes? I mean, obviously you go into every game confident, but what was it like?
Right. I mean, so for us, I mean, I really have to credit our coach, Coach Moser, and all of our assistants as well. But what they did is they knew that they could guarantee us one thing before every game, and that was that we were going to be better prepared, as far as X's and O's and tendencies of the other team. We were going to know that we were going to know them better than they knew us. So that was something that we really kind of prided ourselves on. So, first game, obviously jitters. There's nerves. It's a stage that none of us had ever been on. But, I think once we got that first game done, and obviously did it in dramatic fashion with Dante Ingram hitting the buzzer beater, it really was just one game at a time at that point, as cliche as it sounds. It was, we'd lock in and we'd do our best to block out the stage that we were on and just focus on, okay, this first game we got to beat Miami. It doesn't matter who's up after this or what could happen. We just have to beat Miami. And the next game is beat Tennessee and so on and so forth. So it was really, we were a confident bunch. We kind of felt like we were shortchanged throughout the year as far as the attention we were getting. So there's definitely a chip on our shoulder as far as, representing the underdog. But in our minds, we weren't underdogs. We were a team that belonged, at that stage.
Now, as happy as I am for you with all the success and for making this incredible run, part of me is disappointed that you didn't give me a heads up that when you transferred from North Dakota, you were going to be this good at Loyola, because I could have put some money in Vegas on you guys. I could have made some serious cash, man. How did you make this decision in the first place to transfer? I mean, did you know that they were going to be this good? Because for most of the people in the country, this came out of nowhere.
Right. No, so I finished up, I had a great 3-year career at UND. I loved every minute of it. And, that was capped off by going to the tournament. And for me, it was, I was kind of ready for, a new challenge. And so I was looking around for schools I wanted to go to. And, originally I was actually going to go back to my first school that I went to, Utah State University. And that was just going to be as a walk-on, and I was going to, try and work my way up there and help them try and build something. And out of nowhere, Porter Moser calls one of our assistant coaches at UND, who thankfully I was still in good standing with, and they were asking, the coach's name is Brad Davidson, who's Australian, and Coach Moser was asking Brad about, an Australian kid, and Brad just threw my name out there and was like, hey, do you have any interest in Carson Shanks? And, Coach Moser kind of jumped at the idea, and within a matter of, 2 or 3 days, my whole mindset changed from going, I was going to go back to Utah, and now I'm going to Chicago. And so in that couple-day period, I sat down and I watched every game I could of them the previous season. I did my homework on every player that was coming back, the recruits that were coming in, their coaching staff, playing style, conference, all of that. And every coach sells you on the idea that they want to go to the NCAA tournament, but I truly believe with the kids they had coming back that making a run was definitely possible. Did I imagine going to the Final Four? Hell no. But I knew there was something pretty cool there, and I didn't meet any of the guys. I didn't even visit the campus. I just had a gut feeling that it was, they were on the verge of really turning a corner. And the first day I got down there, I was like, I know I made the right decision. This is a pretty special group.
Absolutely. One of the things that made this team so special, though, is Sister Jean. I mean, every channel you turned on, Sister Jean was on it. She got so much publicity, and rightly so. She seemed like the best. And I know from reading about you that weren't you actually like in charge with getting her on and off planes? Like that's a big responsibility, man. When the country falls in love with Sister Jean, and you're in charge of her well-being, a lot could go wrong there, man.
I've been lucky to play in some big games. I've been in big time situations. I promise you, there's never been a more stressful 2 minutes of my life than trying to get Sister Jean in that airplane. Oh man, it was me and Cam Krutwig, the freshman big, and Coach Moser looked at us and they're like, there's no ramp. We can't push her up on a wheelchair. We got to get her to climb these stairs. So Krutwig and I get up and we're just sweating. If we let anything happen here, we are public enemy number one in the world. No, it doesn't matter what we do on the court. So thankfully we get back there and, we're getting all prepped up to lift this 90-pound woman. And she gets out of her wheelchair, just pops right out, and just slowly starts making her way up the stairs. And Krutwig and I just stood there just looking dumb because we didn't have to do anything because there's this 98-year-old woman that is literally an angel and can just go up the stairs whenever she needs to.
Is she as sweet as she seems like? Is she? What is she like in person?
Oh, she's everything that you see, that you saw during our run is completely accurate. She is literally the sweetest person I've ever met in my entire life. But at the same time, she knows what's going on. She is like so sharp with everything basketball related.
Really?
Like she knows the ins and outs of every team. She can tell you what they're averaging per game, all this stuff. And that's when we would do our, she would talk to us before the games. She would be like, for example, when we were playing Nevada, they had two twins. They had a set of twins, I should say. Tony and Kayla Martin, who were their best players. And they looked exactly alike. They were number 10 and number 11. And Sister Jean, I'll be honest, I don't even know how to tell them apart. I can tell you who they are to this day, but Sister Jean rattled off stats on each one. It was like, well, one's a better shooter and the other one's more of a slasher. I'm like, damn, I should probably know that.
Oh, that's awesome.
She is, having her along for the ride was one of the coolest parts of the entire thing.
Do you have some extra Sister Jean swag that you could throw my way? Because, she had everything from bobbleheads to shirts. Do you got some stuff from this run?
So here's the deal. We get back, I think it's after we advanced to the Sweet 16, and, this is when the Sister Jean buzz is really starting to take off. And we get back to Rogers Park where Loyola's located. And I see everyone walking around with Sister Jean socks. And I'm like, oh man, I need to get some of those. I need to wear those in the next game that we have. And sure enough, I go to the souvenir store where, usually you can get anything you want there. It's never sold out. I can't get a damn thing that has Sister Jean out of there. It is all sold out. So my parents, for my birthday that recently just came up, got me some Sister Jean socks, so I finally got some. But
that's awesome. Now you're like the rest of the country now.
What's that?
I said you're like the rest of the country now. Everybody else seems to have something Sister Jean related. Right. Hey, last question for you, Carson, before we let you go. What's up with you now? I know you wrapped up your college career. What's on the horizon for you? What can we expect?
Well, I'm back home in Minnesota now. Working out every day. I'm trying to see if I can get a few more years of ball out of my own bones and see if I can.
You're not allowed to say that until you're my age, man. You are not allowed to call yourself old until you're at least.
I feel old, man. I'm hoping to go, play somewhere overseas for a few years. Experience different countries, and I'm not ready to hang them up yet. And whenever that time comes, I want to stay involved with basketball forever, so I want to get into coaching and things of that nature. But for the time being, I'm lucky. I signed with a great agency, and Vision Quest agency that's represented a lot of nice Minnesota basketball players, and I'm hoping to see how long I can